I want to encourage everybody to go to thebigbank.com, thebigbadbank.com. We have links to it up on Infowars.com, thebigbadbank.com, and to get your video and book, both titled The Big Bad Bank. Also, while you're at it, folks, Follow the Republic. It details who the bankers are, how they're imploding the economy by design, their own statements, their own documents, how they're using the environmental movement, the police state they're setting up to enforce it. In-game blueprint for global enslavement covers the depopulation, their entire program. Everyone must see this. This is real. They're doing it. You ask, what is the solution? Education. Show the people that environmentalism has nothing to do with the environment. They co-opt all these good people to serve them. This is their takeover, and it's in trouble, but they've invested hundreds of billions conservatively in this propaganda. They're moving forward with it, but they're beginning to slow. If you take action and educate everyone you know, we can stop these people. So get the films at Infowars.com or watch them in high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Let's go to calls. Let's talk to Mike in Pennsylvania. You're on the air with George Hunt.
Yeah, a question for the guest. When you had met with the elites, had they mentioned anything about, this was in the late 80s from my understanding from what you're saying, anything about government-sponsored terror, in particular 9/11 being carried out in the future?
Staging crises, staging terror attacks.
No, there was nothing mentioned of a war or warfare or anti-terrorist. Nothing like that came up.
Okay.
They talked about using the threat of environmental catastrophe, which is another form of false flag.
I missed that. Yeah, Rothschild said that we were doomed to extinction if we didn't accept his bank and this program.
He will save us. And now his son, we're told in the newspaper, is a Jesus archetype, literally. I mean, you can't make this type of bizarreness up, ladies and gentlemen. The hero gene. Inside talks about him being a Jesus figure. Anything else, Mike?
So, Dallas, do you think then that the kind of the right-wing arm of the New World Order, like this might be the left-wing arm,
yes.
carries out, government-sponsored terror, that's maybe...
Yes. I mean, both parties, both groups do it, but yes. The Club of Rome said in 91 that they will use, on the left, phony environmentalism, on the right, stage terror. We have those quotes. They published them. We have them in articles that Paul Watson's written with direct links. They said they will use that pincer to capture us. On the right, they'll use security and terror. On the left, the environment. I appreciate your call, Mike. Comments on that, George Hunt?
Yes. The Club of Rome is the group that was brought up indirectly at the Congress because Gro Harlem Brundtland, the lady that accepted Rothschild's banking program, she was there, and she's the one that heads up the elimination of people on the planet. Gro Harlem Brundtland. She's also the chairman, I think, of the United Nations UNCED UNED committee, UNED. It's called the Brundtland Committee.
All right.
And the UNED is the one that created UNCED, UNCED. Isn't that a funny name, UNCED? That's the United Nations Commission on Environment and Development, and that's the one that Rothschild was that Maurice Strong was the Secretary General of.
All right, let's take another call. Herman in New York. Thanks for holding her on the air.
Yes, hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. First thing, I have a comment, and I have a question, and I'll take my answer off air. First comment is I repost all your articles on my Facebook page, facebook.com/100BILLION. And my question for Mr. Hunt is, what's the most important part of the eugenics movement that should be highlighted and exposed? Because when I just say eugenics and I just speak of the issue, it's a bit much for the average person to comprehend and swallow.
Herman's asking again, what is the most important part of their depopulation agenda?
Well, the most important part is to eliminate the people who are destroying the environment. If you look at pictures from the Brundtland report, that's still available, I believe, from the United Nations. If you look at the pictures, it shows pictures of indigent people who it's better to die than to live.
Yeah, they say, oh, their life isn't happy. Oh, isn't suicide good? Isn't euthanasia? We see Newsweek, the case for killing Granny. All these articles were being sold that death is actually compassionate. Yeah. Oh, don't help people, just kill them.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you, Herman. I appreciate the call. Terry in Ohio. Terry, you're on the air.
Yes, Alex.
Yes.
Hey, I got a question. I'm the pastor, but here's my thing. You've been doing this, and he's talking about it, too, as far as this banking. They're bankers. Well, you've even asked, and you've asked for solutions and things like that, and people are all looking for solutions, and I think I've come up with one. And here it is. If everybody quit paying on their credit cards, because these bankers are going to bankrupt the banks anyway. They're going to take their money out of the banks, and I know this is going to have an effect because 316,000 people have left California. And look at the effect it's having on that. If people in every state just up and just quit paying on their credit cards, just up and stop it, and not pay nothing, then they would start losing their money, and then we can start taking Congress.
Well, I'll say this. It's a very complex issue. But yes, the banks would then just get a bailout to themselves of our tax money to pay it. But by people not, and I'm not saying do this, it's your decision, by not supporting the system before they're ready to crash it, that will screw them up. And that's why they want global government. They talk about tax avoidance. They say they want an 87% total tax rate worldwide so people don't run from their control. And that's why they hate it. People are leaving Massachusetts, New York, California to states where they can still have a little bit lower taxes and survive. That's why the globalists come in and finance higher taxes locally so you have nowhere to run. And this is a very key point you brought up that we need to debate more and discuss more. Let me get a comment from George Hunt on what you just discussed.
Well, I never thought of those ways that we could prevent these people from doing their dirty deeds. I think the credit card idea is a good one. But could you get all the people in the United States to do it together? Because if you're the only one that does that, you're going to lose.
Well, also, again, they're putting their cashless thumbprint face scan buying and selling in so that if you're not in good graces with Homeland Security and with the global security network they've set up in Interpol, you won't be allowed to buy and sell even if you have the cash. That's what the cashless society is. You'll still have cash. You've just got an ID to do it. And they've openly announced they want that. I mean, they are coming in to squeeze you. They want to bankrupt you. They want to control you. I think for people who can get into communities or loosely knit organizations rurally that decide to defend each other, decide to get each other out of debt, and then you've just got to wait for the tanks to come down the street whenever that happens and still be politically involved to try to stop that from happening. You've got to prepare for the worst, but also fight to stop it. Again, everything's multifaceted.
Yeah.
So you can't just hide out in the country and wait for them to come, but you've also got to have communities, get to know your neighbors, understand who the enemy is, and say, we're going to stick together. Everything the globalists do is about dividing us so we can't stick together so they can individually come like wolves and rip our guts out.
That's what they do overseas, too. They get the Shiites against the Hussites, against the Jebusites, and they get these... They rile the countries up by getting the religions fighting against
This has been the most amazing interview ever. We're going to hold you for one more segment. We're going to talk to Carl, Bob, and Joe. This has been an amazing interview. We'll hold you one more segment next hour. Total News Blitz on key issues. Stay with us. They don't like you being self-sufficient. They don't like it when you got a four-wheel drive, a shotgun, a rifle. You know how to run a trot line, know how to grow tomatoes and homemade wine. They want you under their control. Animal ID, premises ID is all UN. They're taking over your local communities. They're putting fake environmentalists in to run your life. These are the equivalent of Soviet commissars. You've got to stand up against them. Crank up Hank Williams Jr. I'm not done with him. I want people to hear this part. They don't like the country boys, whether you're black, white, old, young. They don't like the fact that you're self-sufficient. They don't like the fact that they can't make you run, that they can't starve you out, that they can't control your life. And this is the key to defeating them, is being self-sufficient and getting out of debt and getting our republic back. Here it is.
Because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run. Those Woodland old boys raised on shotgun. We say grace.
They don't have our guns. They don't have our farms like they do the Australians. They haven't gotten up to that point yet. We're going to stop them here cold. We're going to stop the New World Order right here.